Okay guys, welcome back after that short advert break. Let us now look at the topic of interest. Okay, so here I indicated our first question that says, Tapelo is planning on renovating his house. He applied for a loan to the amount of 175,000 Rand. He approached 2 loan institutions. The following offers are available to Tapelo. Okay, so the first we are saying here, the 2 institutions, Institution A and Institution B, right? The first one offers him the following deal. That says the interest rate of the loan is charged at 13% per annum, simple interest. Okay, so that's Institution A. Then looking at Institution B, the interest of the loan is charged at 12% per annum, compounded half yearly. So there we have the 2 offers available to Tapelo. What else is important? Tapelo wants to repay this loan within 2 years' time, right? His friend Brian advised him to take a loan from Institution A, as the amount he has to repay will be less than the repayment amount of Institution B. Now the question that we need to answer is verify, showing all calculations whether Brian is correct or not. So remember, there are 2 institutions, 2 offers available to Tapelo. Institution A is offering one thing, Institution B is offering something else, and we need to find which will be the best, right? So let's answer this question. So there I just indicated again the important information. Remember, the price is of the loan amount is 175,000, and this is the 2 options that is available to him. All right, guys, let us now look at what is offered at Institution A, right? So label that as A. Right, we know that A represents Institution A. Here we are indicating that the interest of the loan is charged at 13% per annum, simple interest, right, as indicated there. So it's a period of 2 years, so I'll indicate year 1. Okay, what is important here? Okay, so it will be 13%. So it's 13 over 100 multiplied by our 175,000 Rand, right? So let's quickly type that in. 13% of 175,000. So that will give us interest for year number 1 of 22,750 Rand. I will now look at year 2. Same needs to happen here, right? So it's going to be the 13% of 175,000. Remember, we indicated with simple interest, we calculated on the principal amount, right? So that will also give us then 22,750. So then the interest over this 2-year period, right? So what will that amount to? It's where I take the 22,750 of year 1 plus the 22,750 of year 2, right? And I'll get an answer of 45,500 Rand. Okay, so what is the final amount? Okay, in this case for Institution B. Remember I said final amount consists of your principal amount plus the interest, right? So therefore it will be the 175,000 Rand, right? The original loan amount plus the interest that is payable, the 45,500. Okay, so let's add the 2 amounts together, 175,000 Rand plus the 45,500. So this will give us 220,500 Rand. So if Tapelo decides to go with option A, this will be amount that he needs to pay back at the end of this loan period, 220,500 Rand. Okay, let's now look at should he decide to go with option B. So here option B, what is important here, the interest of the loan is charged as 12% per annum, compounded half yearly. All right, how many half years in 1 year? It's 2, but since we are working over a period of 2 years, there will be 4 half years. So I will now be working with Institution B. So let's start. The first half year. Okay, so remember, we are saying that it's compounded half yearly. So I need to divide my interest rate by 2. No? So therefore, I'll say that becomes 6%. So 6% of 175,000 Rand Okay, so what will that give us? So I'm going to indicate then 6% of 175,000 rand. So that will give us interest of year 1, and I'll write it here, of 10,500 rand. Okay, now remember, before I move on to the second half year, I'll have to take the 175,000 rand plus the interest of 10,500. Okay, let's add the two amounts together, 175,000. So that will give us a new principal amount of 185,500 rand. Are we still clear? Now, second half year. What needs to happen now? We are no longer working with the 175,000. We have a new principal amount, and that is 185,500 rand. So I'm going to calculate 6% on the new principal amount of 185,500 rand. So multiply by 6 divided by 100. So that will give us interest for the second half year of 11,130 rand. Okay, before I move on to the third half year, I need to add the two amounts together. The principal amount, 185,500, plus the interest of 11,130. So what will that give me? So let's add the two amounts together, 185,500. Okay, so that will give me a new principal amount of 196,630 rand. Remember, that becomes our new principal amount now. So I'm moving to the third half year. Right, so now it will be 6%. So I'm indicating 6% of the new principal amount of 196,630. So let's calculate that, times 6 divided by 100. That will give us interest of 11,797 rand and 80 cents. Right, so remember, now I need to add the two amounts together. So therefore it becomes 196,630 plus your interest of 11,797 rand 80 cents. So what will that give us? Okay, so plus 196,630. That will give us an amount of 208,427 rand and 80 cents. That becomes our new principal amount. Right. I'm now in the fourth half year, the final part, right? And I hope you guys are working with me still. So what is important now? I'll take 6.9%, or not 6.9, only 6%, multiply by 208,427 rand and 80 cents to see what that will give me. So multiply by 6%. So this will give us interest of 12,505 rand and 67 cents. I'm going to round it off straight away to 2 decimal places, right? So what is the final amount in this case? Right, so what will happen now? I will take my 208,427 rand and 80 cents plus the interest of 12,505 rand and 67 cents. Let's add it together, 208,427 rand and 80 cents plus our 12,505 rand and 67 cents. So that will give us total amount payable, 220,933 rand and 47 cents. Okay, but guys, please note, we are not yet done with our question. We need to tell which one is best. Remember, we said option A, we need to pay back, and let me quickly just double check what that answer is. There we see it's 220,500 rand, right? So I'll go back and you see 220,500 rand. That is what needs to be paid. And now we're going to quickly relate that to what we have to do here. So it's 220,500 rand. For institution B, it needs to pay back 220,933 rand and 47 cents. Guys, remember, since this is a loan, it's clear to see that if he goes with option B, he'll need to pay back more, right? There's a difference of, let's quickly see. I'm going to take now 220,933 rand 47 cents minus 220,500. So there will be a difference of, so therefore the difference here is 433 rand and 47 cents. So in this case, his friend Brian is definitely correct. He needs to go with option A because he will pay back less money. Guys, I hope that's clear. It's a mouthful, but I'm sure you followed with me, you did the calculations with me, and you also arrived at the same answer. Let us quickly take a short break. After the break, we'll wrap up today's lesson. See you now.